What's up, B Squad? It is your boy JB, and I am here today, you guys, with a brand new review for what is this we're talking about? Paradise, you guys. Season 1, episode number 3, you guys. And this episode was titled, what was this episode titled? The Architect of Well-Being? Social Well-Being, that's what it was. The Architect of Social Well-Being. Good episode, you guys. But before we get into it, if you guys are watching this video or any other video on the channel and you guys aren't subscribed yet, then I need you guys to do me a solid favor and stop taking me out on this date and then having me pay for it at the end of it. You guys know the routine. You can do me that favor by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, turning on your post notifications, and sharing the video, you guys. And with that out of the way, without further ado, let us discuss Paradise, shall we? All right, you guys, so really good episode. Want to give a huge shout out to Mock Reviews, you guys, because the craziest thing was, now you guys know when I watch these shows, like I don't always get, I be looking down at the phone, taking my notes, so I don't always look up and see things, so there be things that I do miss in the review. So shout out to you for letting me know, JB, you missed something in episode 1. And I was like, what did I miss in episode 1? Then I went back and actually looked at it and I was like, oh, everything makes sense now. Even stuff in episode 3 made sense, because like at the end of episode 2, when we see Presley and the first son, when they were in that, where those planes were, this episode made everything. I was like, now it makes a lot of sense. I was like, okay, cool. We cooking with some grease now. We've been cooking with grease, but I was like, okay, now this shit makes a whole lot of sense to me, you guys. But yeah, you guys, let's talk about episode 3 of Paradise. Now, also before we do get into it, you guys, I also do want to say I am still not yet caught up on Paradise, so I've only watched episode 3. Now, what I'm going to do is, since I'm off work, we will be getting caught up. So the next few episodes that you guys see, hopefully the next few episodes that you guys see, I'll probably still be having on the same shirt, because I'm just going to record them in batch, and I'm going to edit them and then just have them all scheduled to premiere after the episodes go off. But yeah, you guys, let's get into it, shall we? Now this episode, I don't know where I want to start up with, because this was a really good episode. Like, when I say a good episode. So I don't know if I want to start up with Xavier or if I want to start up with Nicole and Sinatra. Actually, let's start up with Nicole and Sinatra, because Xavier, I want to end with him because of the way that the episode ended. So this episode with Nicole and Sinatra. Now we see them as they're at the morgue, right? And they're talking to the coroner. So the coroner is telling them, all the bruises and that's on Cal, right? And he's telling them about this, his head and all that stuff, but they don't have a weapon at this point. And I was like, so Nicole asked him, like, so did you guys get up under his fingernails? And he said, yes. And so Sinatra asked him, like, when will you guys have the DNA results? He said, with the limited tech down here, it may be about a day or two, right? So after that, we see as both Sinatra and Nicole both in the bathroom regurgitating. I was like, yeah, I probably would be regurgitating too, because to see a deceased body and one that is battered and bruised up, yeah, I would feel the same way too. So then we also see Nicole in the bedroom. And so she's daydreaming. While she's daydreaming, Cal comes out. He was like, she looks good in his boxers. So then Cal comes up behind her and he's hugging on her. And then you see blood splatter on her shirt. And I was like, what the hell is going on? Then you look up and see Cal. It's just gushing from his head. I said, oh. And you can see her screaming, but you can't hear her screaming. So then she comes out of the daydream and Sinatra's in the room with her, right? And Sinatra is saying, I got a deceased president, a missing tablet. She needs that tablet back, right? And so Nicole was like, I'll get it back for you. And Sinatra is like, do I need to worry about you? Because I don't need somebody that's too close to this that is daydreaming about the president. So are you okay? And she's like, if you give me some space, then we'll be fine. And she was like, well, I need you to give me some reassurance, and I'll give you the space, right? So after that, we see as Nicole is downstairs talking to Jane, Garcia, and Billy, right? She's telling them what they do know, what they don't know. And Billy is asking the question, Xavier is our best agent. Why is he not here? And upstairs, Sinatra is listening. So Sinatra came down and, you know, Nicole finishes talking to Jane and to Jane and to Billy, right? Now, Garcia is going to be going to look and see what he can find about the cameras being shut down for that night. And then Sinatra is telling Nicole, like, hey, I got to go worry about Henry. So let me go clean this shit up with Henry real quick. But when I come back, I do want some fucking answers, right? Now, we see as Billy and Jane are talking. Jane is worried that worried that Garcia is going to be able to find out that they are the ones who, you know, turn the cameras off, right? But Billy is trying to sit here and reassure Jane, like, that's not going to happen. I was like, you think that's not going to happen, sir? Are you certain about that? Because he seemed very certain. But he seemed very certain about that, right? So then we see as Sinatra went to go talk to Henry. When she was talking to Henry, we see Henry. So Henry is just walking around the room pacing. Nancy, his wife, is trying to calm him down. And, you know, Sinatra's telling him, like, you know, I can protect you, but I can't protect you from a busted blood vessel, right? I was like, can you protect him? Can you protect him? Here's my thing, you guys. Again, no spoilers. It's so interesting to me because everybody is suspicious to me. Like, everybody is suspicious. Gabriella is suspicious, right? Billy is suspicious. Jane is suspicious. I would say Nicole is suspicious, but I'm not really that suspicious of Nicole. It's really the more I think about it, it's the white people that I'm suspicious of, right? Gabriella, Nicole, no, not Nicole. Gabriella, Sinatra, Billy, and Jane. Those four people are on my radar. Those four people are on my radar. And we may come back to this once we get to the end of the season and see if I'm on the right track. But those, and you guys, please don't tell me if I'm on the right track or not. But those four people are really high on my radar. And I'm also wondering if the writers are intentionally doing this. I can't wait to finish this. I cannot wait to finish this, you guys. I really, truly can't. I cannot wait to finish this. Because they're all on my, like I said, for real, they're all on my radar. They're all on my radar. But if I had to pick top of my list right now, it's Sinatra. Sinatra is the top of the list. Then at the middle of my list, it is, the top of my list is Sinatra. Then we move down to Billy. Then we move down to Jane. And Gabriella, she's not, like, she's on my list, but she's not really on my list. It was just things that she did in this episode. But we'll talk about it once we get to her, right? Now, he did question, this is Henry, by the way. Henry is questioning Sinatra because he's like, you know, for you to have surveillance cameras everywhere, you don't know nothing about this? And she's like, well, contrary to popular belief, she doesn't record the whole entire city. This is so weird to me, you guys. Like, an underground city, this is weird to me. I couldn't do it, wouldn't do it. No. That seems like captivity, if we're being honest. That seems like captivity. I could see it if this were a post-apocalyptic world, which we might find out that it's post-apocalyptic, right? Kind of like The Walking Dead, or if you guys are familiar with Power Rangers, there was a season called RPM, where in this world, a computer virus had taken over the world, and the only place that they could be safe was inside of a domed city. And this domed city was kind of like this place. Everything was everything was computerized, right? The thunderstorms, that was planned. Everything was planned. So, but this just seems like captivity, if we're being honest with each other. But moving on from that, you guys. Now we get as Nicole is having a meeting with Sinatra, right? So she brought in Billy and Jane, and she's questioning why is there a fireplace in here. And I was like, that is a good question, but why are you asking these two? Why is there a fireplace in here when we're in an underground city? Like we're in an underground city, so why are you questioning these two about it? Like I'm just curious. I'm just curious. You know what I'm saying? I'm curious about that. I was curious about that, nonetheless, right? And if you guys notice, my eye is itching for some odd reason. I don't know why my eye is itching. But she questioned them, and I was thinking, like, why are you questioning, right? So then she asked them about the cameras being shut down the night of Cal's, untimely demise. So Jane is telling Billy, like, I feel like we need to tell them. I was like, tell them what? So we find out that Billy and Jane are the ones who shut the cameras down because, according to Billy and Jane, they play Wii tennis. I was like, y'all play Wii tennis. Then y'all go through his drawer of junk food and eat his junk food, and Billy tries on his socks. I was like, so y'all are the reason why nobody knows what happened. Can't see anything past a certain time. I was like, okay, cool. But then Sinatra told Nicole, find me some real answers or I'll get somebody to find them for me. And I was like, girl, do what this lady says. Do what this lady says, right? But let's pause here, you guys, and we're going to wrap up. Now, this episode, we see Xavier. So remember, that cigarette, he's still looking at those numbers and they're burning. And we also see him looking at some, the things, the little, I don't know, the pins from the Air Force, right? I was like, oh, who's in the Air Force? But then I kind of thought, then he had a flashback. I was like, that must be him and his dad when he was in the Air Force, and it was, right? So we see as Billy and Xavier are out running, and Billy is questioning Xavier, like, why are we out running? Like, why are we not meeting at a bar or something? And Xavier's worried that, people could be watching them, people could be reporting them. So this is good enough for them, right? So Billy tells Xavier he feels like they should tell the people the truth. He said, you wanted to tell people that the president was murdered, his tablet with top secret information is missing, and we think that the people who built this place is covering it up. Is that what you want to do? And he told Billy, like, whatever you do, be careful, but let this be between me and you, right? So then we see as Xavier went to go see Gabriella. So Xavier is asking Gabriella, like, why did you tell me to say yes? And so she said, you need to book an appointment with me. He said, I asked you a simple question. She said, well, I'm getting ready to go out for a walk. Do you want to join me? He told her yes. So then we found out that with this walk that they are on, that they've been in this underground city for 3 years. Again, captivity for 3 years. You hear the sounds of insects, but the sounds of the insects are recordings. And I was like, that is so weird to me. So y'all got this on a whole big ass speakerphone, like big old boombox something like in the sky. What the fuck? No. So Xavier asked her, like, do you think that your office is bugged? And she told him yes. So we find out that she was seeing Cal the week before, his untimely demise. And she's telling him how, he was very tired. He was very burdened. He said, but he's a president. She said he was also walking around in my office in his bathrobe, stumbling and drunk. I was like, that ain't good for a president of, I was going to say the United States of America, but this ain't the United States of America. This is the United States of an underground city. So she asked him, once again, he asked her, why did she step in the other day? And then she says, you know what, I've done enough talking, so I want to know about your father because I read your file. So tell me tell me about your relationship with your father. So we get a flashback to his father, who is played by Glenn Sherman. Is that his name? Y'all remember him from A Different World. So in the flashback, we do find out that his dad is a part of the Air Force, right? And currently still in the Air Force. We see them as they're playing chess. Xavier wanted to be in the Air Force, but unfortunately he couldn't be in the Air Force because something's up with his eyes, right? But he told his dad, his dad asked him how were things going at the academy. He said things are going good. Then he asked him about Terry, and that's when Xavier told him that Terry was pregnant. Now, back to present day, Xavier told Gabriella, there's nothing to talk about with that. But she says, if you want me to take a chance with you, then I need you to talk to me and so I can get to know you, right? So we also found out because they went walking, they went to a grocery store, and I guess when the people first got there, which I mean, again, it's captivity. So I don't think anybody's gonna really want to socialize with people, but we see people socializing with one another, and she's telling Xavier that she's the one that built this place, right? She helped build this place. Then she told him how she met Samantha. So he asked her, is she's trustworthy? And she said, enough talking, back to your father. So she wants to know about his dad's last flight. So we do another flashback, right? And in this flashback, we see him with his father. He's telling his dad that he's going to be on the VP's detail, right? And so his dad is asking how they come up with those code names. And then he noticed a tremor with his dad. So he's like, what is that tremor? His dad tried to play it off at first, but he said, what is that tremor? So his dad told him, like, I have Parkinson's, right? But I'm taking medication. And so Xavier asked his dad, like, have you reported this to your superiors, your higher ups, your union? His dad ain't told nobody, but he said there are people who know about this. I was like, and you're still currently flying? Sir, absolutely the hell not. So Xavier is telling his dad that he needs to retire, and his dad is like, he's not going to retire. Now, back to the present day, we see as Xavier and Gabriella, they went to a diner, right? Because she was talking about some cheese fries. They had the cheese fries. Now, when they got there, she noticed that Xavier was surveying the place and looking at people. Like, there was this one woman who was in a booth eating. Now, when you see her, she's cutting with one hand and got the fork in the other hand. But then she switched and she cut. So he thought that he called him to that, right? And they were just talking. So we do also get a little bit more information about Xavier's wife, right? Now, those planes. Remember that I didn't understand those planes in last week's episode? Well, but this is underground. So how the fuck did these planes get under? You know what? I'm along for the ride because I'm curious about this. But Xavier's wife was in a different city. I guess Cal was supposed to get his wife from said city to this underground city, right, where they are. And I was like, okay, so that's why you have an issue. That's why you had an issue with Cal, right? That is why he had an issue with Cal. So after that, we moved back because at this point they're getting to know each other, right? So he told her, you want to know about my dad's last flight? So he told her that. He told her. So we see the flashback again. In the flashback, he is telling her that he's telling his dad that he's now on the president's detail. So he's like, so you can get on Air Force One. He said yes. So we see as he took his dad to Air Force One, right? And when they got to Air Force One, now I got Xavier in this particular moment, but I was like, damn, that's kind of fucked up to your daddy. So Xavier took it upon himself to file the discharge papers for his dad. I was like, damn, that's fucked up. Then we move back to present day and we find out that, the Parkinson got worse and his dad died after that. I was like, I think your dad died because what you did to him. He said, fuck this medication because he told you at Air Force One that the medicine was helping him with his Parkinson's. I was like, oh, so that got to weigh heavy on Xavier. That has to weigh heavy on Xavier. So we see Xavier and Gabriella got back to his place, right? And so they're talking. He asked Gabriella, those series of numbers, do they mean anything to her? She said no. So then he's also trying to figure out why was he chosen, right? And so Gabriella told him, like, I'm the one that picked you. And so we see a flashback with her, with Sinatra and Cal together. And they were talking about his detail, right? So Gabriella came with the files of the guys that she, guys and women that she had handpicked, right? And she was holding on to one particular file. And he asked her about this file. She's like, I want to read this file. But she gave him the file. He said, this is who I want. If this is who you think is gonna be good enough, I want to meet this person, and we're gonna go with them. And that person was none other than Xavier, right? So after that, we see, as you know, she went in for a kiss, and they kissed, right? So then they went in the crib, and so she patted him down to make sure that there was nothing on him. So she went to the bathroom, and we see them in the shower as they about to get it in, right? And she whispered in his ear that Kyle told her that if anything were to happen to him, find Xavier and tell him, do not trust Billy. And I was like, I never trusted Billy. I didn't really trust Billy from the jump, right? So then we see Billy pull up, got a gun in his car, and you see Presley in her window. I was like, ooh, I wonder where we were going with this. But that's the end of episode 3, you guys. Overall, it was a good episode to me. I enjoyed it. Most of you guys have already watched this season, so I can't say what you guys think about this episode. But yeah, let's just talk about the episode down in the comment section, you guys. Subscribe to the channel. Turn on your post notifications, you guys. Share the video. And until the next time, stay safe out there. Take care of yourselves, you guys. Wash your hands. Be blessed. And I'll see you guys in the next video.